Crane the Cowboy, here we are, August 11th, and this date may be pivotal when we look back at the history of the Donald Trump campaign, Patrick, because he used a chart.
Yeah, he used the old Ross Perot charts, and quite frankly, he used them kind of the way Ross Perot did. For those who are too young to remember, or for those who are too old and forgot, when Ross Perot ran for president against Bill Clinton and George Bush Sr., he would bring out these charts, and he had his pointer. Mm-hmm. And I don't know, for those of us who went through the Xerox training or some of that training, they used to give you a pointer upon graduation to point to your charts and everything else, and it was very effective because he says, look at this number. Look how this number's going.
This is 1992, so I'm thinking it's probably before the PowerPoint, right?
Oh, yeah. And so then Trump today, he says, all right, here's a chart. Now, I'm not too great at charts, but I can tell you one thing. See that? Obama. And he pointed all the way down. It's effective. And maybe that's something to keep him, maybe they're using, I think they're trying different things to keep him on course. For him, that's good. It's a visual, it's easy to understand, and the voters love it.
You know, usually around this time of the campaigns, even in a congressional campaign, the question is asked, are you going to go negative? Are you going to go after your opponent? Well, neither Trump nor Hillary really has to worry about it because the media is doing it for them. Everything you read about Trump is something negative, and almost everything you read about Hillary is either she has experience, or it's negative about her past, her avarice for money, her this, that, or the other thing. But no one's saying what they're going to really do. What's Hillary going to do that Obama hasn't done? And what is Trump going to do except bring his business experience?
And her economic speech today was basically a refutation of Trump. Remember, she's in a hard place. She can't go too hard against Obama, because if she does, then it's like, so what do we need you for if we're going to get change? Right. All you are is a continuation. Right. Plus the fact today she told a bunch of union guys in Ohio or Pennsylvania, I'm against TPP, I will always be against TPP and everything else. And then Terry McAuliffe a couple of weeks ago says, don't worry, she'll change her mind when she gets there. The guy to believe in this is Terry McAuliffe, because that's exactly what she'll do.
And Bill Clinton, of course, when he was president, a lot of our viewers don't even remember that because they're younger, but he's had a pretty good handle on the economy. I mean, if you just look at the numbers. But he also had Alan Greenspan, the puppeteer on interest rates, and it was a very different economy. That doesn't make him an expert. That makes him lucky. Yeah,
exactly. And it's like, here's a little point Democrats keep forgetting about the great Bill Clinton economy. What happened in 1994? For the first time in 40 years, the Republicans took over the House. And he actually had to deal with, and the Senate too, he had to deal with Republicans. He was more than happy. What do y'all want to do? Fine. Will it make me look better? Well, yeah, of course it's going to, because the economy's going to raise. So he gets reelected. I mean, he didn't do anything. Presidents are like quarterbacks. They get too much credit when things go right, and they get too much blame when things go wrong. Sometimes it just happens.
So I'm in a Best Buy the other day buying something, and I gave them a credit card, and they wanted to see my driver's license, my ID. Not a big deal. Same thing happens at the airport. You want to get on a plane, you have to have ID. Oh, if you can't drive, your state will probably give you an ID card.
Free.
So what's the big deal about having to furnish an ID to vote? Probably the most sacred privilege we have as Americans.
They have made it so easy, and the left, with their pals in the media, have made this into, we're going back to Jim Crow, and these poor minorities won't be able, they're unjustly affected. Excuse me, it's been 50 years since the Voting Rights Act. The states are saying, if you can't get one, we'll send it to you. We'll make it easy for you. But why can't we know who's voting? It's the basic thing, as you said, that's being a basic right of citizenship.
And if you take the argument that so many of these folks are at the poverty level or below, consider this. Many people have credit cards or debit cards, even if they're, very barely banked, right? And even if they're not, they have a debit card to get their benefits from the federal government. That in itself is an ID. To get that, you have to show ID. So to vote, you should be able to show that. What's the big deal?
Well, and let me ask you this, and maybe I'm just a dumb cowboy, but what about the idea that to go to get your debit card from the government, your EBT card, you have to go somewhere? Oh, I see. I have to physically go somewhere. Why can't I physically go somewhere to get my voter card?
Do you suppose that one party or the other might be hoping that they don't have to show ID, because if they don't have to show an ID, maybe they can vote more than once?
I think it's that, and I think they also want to see how many illegals they can push through the system.
Anyway, if you're going to vote, bring your ID. It always helps. Crane the Cowboy, we'll be back soon.